Minister, you have a report.
Madam Speaker, I rise to deliver the Ministerial report on Asian relations notified yesterday. Madam Speaker, today I stand before the Assembly to report on the work being undertaken by this CLP government in our journey to reconnect with our Asian neighbours. As the Minister responsible for trade, business and Asian relations, I'm proud to be leading our government's engagement with Asia, with the portfolio already playing a crucial role in rebuilding and growing the territory's economy and restoring our lifestyle. Madam Speaker, international trade and investment are essential to rebuilding and growing the territory's economy, which has faced numerous challenges in recent years, not the least of which was those on the other side's dropping the ball on building relationships with our Asian neighbours. The establishment of a portfolio for Asian relations was of great significance. Not only did it reaffirm our CLP government's absolute commitment to the role of the Northern Territory plays as Australia's gateway to Asia, it also sent a clear message to our Asian neighbours that our CLP government recognises the importance of those relationships and how critical those relationships are as we work to rebuilding and growing our territory's economy. In working to elevate and consolidate our relationships across the region, we are taking critical steps to rebuild our reputation as the gateway to Asia. We are also working to advance our people-to-people connections, increase the two-way flow of our products, and to enhance enduring partnerships that will help us work together to overcome any future challenges. Madam Speaker, the rapid growth of Southeast Asia and its 687 million residents presents an unparalleled opportunity for our economy. In today's world, Southeast Asia stands at the centre of global economic growth, presenting significant opportunity for Australian businesses. The combined nominal GDP of Southeast Asia was around $3.6 trillion in 2022, larger than that of the United Kingdom, France and Canada. This economic dynamism is projected to continue with compound annual GDP growth expected at around 4% until 2040, outpacing developed economies which are likely to average growth of 1 to 2%. The region's demographic trends are equally promising. With over half of its population under the age of 35, Southeast Asia is home to a large, productive, working-age population that is expected to drive economic growth for decades to come. The expansion of the middle class, already numbering at least 190 million people, will create demand for higher value products and services, including healthcare, education, and premium food and beverages. Madam Speaker, recognising the importance of strong, independent partnerships with neighbouring nations as Asia's influence grows, our CLP government will ensure the territory is prepared to navigate the geopolitical currents that define the region. We will foster relationships that protect Australian sovereignty and the national interest, as that is what a responsible government must do. But we will not stop prioritising our economic interests, allowing us to compete and thrive in an increasingly interconnected world. By focusing on people, products and partnerships, we will enable the territory to achieve increased investment, a more diversified trade portfolio, a stronger, more capable workforce, and an even more vibrant and multicultural community. This will ensure we are contributing to not only our own, but also Australia's resilience and success. With a rich history of trade and cultural links that date back centuries, the territory's economic vitality is deeply intertwined with our Asian neighbours, with strong investment relationships established with key economies such as Japan, South Korea, Indonesia and Singapore. Japan's investments in the Northern Territory's energy and mining sectors have laid a strong foundation for economic growth, with emerging opportunities in low-carbon technologies as Japan focuses on renewable energy. Similarly, South Korean investments play a crucial role in advancing the territory's mining, energy and infrastructure sectors, as South Korea seeks reliable and secure energy and sources for minerals vital to its high-tech industries. Madam Speaker, while we build upon and grow existing relationships, we will look to expand beyond our established partnerships, exploring new opportunities to build relationships with other Asian neighbours, such as China, Timor-Leste, Malaysia, Taiwan and Vietnam, where economic growth and demand align with the territory's capability in resources, agriculture and tourism. Strengthening existing and building new relationships will diversify our trade partnerships and position us as a strategic location for investors seeking access to Asia's fastest-growing markets and advancing shared goals for sustainability and innovation. Darwin, as Australia's only capital city in Northern Australia, stands closer to major Asian cities than those in the southern states. The significance of this geographical advantage cannot be underestimated and will play a critical role in re-establishing Darwin as the gateway to Asia. With recent announcements on international aviation connections between Darwin and Bali, Darwin and Kuala Lumpur by AirAsia and Darwin and Singapore by Qantas, we have demonstrated we are a destination of significance to the Asian region. Advocacy is critical in our efforts to enhance the Northern Territory's economic prospects. Engagement with the Australian Government is essential for securing funding, influencing policy and leveraging the extensive networks available in Northern Australia and the Asia-Pacific region. Our Department of Trade, Business and Asian Relations is playing a pivotal role in this engagement, supporting our agenda and championing key issues on behalf of our businesses and industries. Our CLP government is committed to making the Northern Territory's voice heard on the national and international stages. Various Australian governments have often been fickle in their support for the Territory, sometimes taking a lackadaisical approach to resourcing their own offices here, far from Canberra, but close to Asia. In creating a clear focus on our proximity to Asia, we are sending a clear message to the Australian Government of the role the Territory has to play in this space, advocating for policies, trade settings and investments that support our economic agenda and the needs of our community. Madam Speaker, when the Territory wins, Australia wins, and that is why the Australian Government must do more and take the Territory's position seriously. I will continue to call for more resources in the Territory to support our whole-of-nation building industries. We punch well above our weight in the Territory. I will advocate for an uplift from the Australian Government's Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, as well as the Australian Trade and Investment Commission, which will help to reinforce our agenda to grow trade and investment partnerships with Asia. Just 7 months into government, we have already made significant progress. That progress commenced by saying yes to engaging with our friends and neighbours in the region and by ensuring our door is clearly open. Madam Speaker, the next step was to reach out and engage with the region's representatives in Australia. We have welcomed inbound engagement visits to the Territory by a number of key partners, including the Ambassador of Japan and Consul General of Japan from New South Wales, the United States Consul General from Victoria, and President of the Timor-Leste Civil Service Commission. I have held high-level meetings with representatives from the governments of Indonesia, Timor-Leste, China, Taiwan and Vietnam, reinforcing the Territory's proactive approach to regional integration. I regularly engage with the Indonesian and Timor-Leste consuls based in Darwin. Each of these engagements have provided opportunities to identify mutual interests and drive initiatives that benefit the territory, laying a solid foundation for economic and cultural exchange. Our CLP government's ongoing collaboration with the Australia-Indonesia Business Council, or the AIBC, underscores a commitment to supporting bilateral trade, investment and partnerships with Indonesia. The AIBC has been instrumental in bringing Australian and Indonesian businesses together, helping territory enterprises tap into Indonesia's dynamic markets. This is why, at the AIBC conference in Sydney last year, I chose to sign a Memorandum of Understanding with Indonesia on critical minerals and strategic supply chains. This MOU marks a significant milestone and is the first of its kind between Indonesia and any subnational Australian jurisdiction. Madam Speaker, as Indonesia realises its potential as Asia's electric vehicle manufacturing powerhouse, the territory stands ready to supply the much-needed critical minerals and rare earths to make this a reality through our potential to supply those resources at the required levels. This MOU paves the way for future investments and partnerships, solidifying the territory's role as a vital partner in regional economic integration. Whilst meeting with foreign dignitaries and officials locally in Darwin and within the Northern Territory enables the Territory to showcase its unique strengths and opportunities directly to key stakeholders. To consolidate our relationships in the region, it is vital we visit our partners abroad. We understand the importance of active engagements with foreign diplomats and their governments in maintaining strong diplomatic ties as the Northern Territory strengthens its position as a key partner in the region and demonstrates its commitment to collaboration on trade, business and community initiatives. In November last year, I undertook our government's first overseas delegation to Timor-Leste, where I met with the Deputy Prime Minister, Secretary of State, various ministers, including the Minister for Health and the Minister for Tourism, a range of businesses, non-government sector representatives and training providers, around 180 people in total, to discuss the opportunities for growing the relationship between Timor-Leste and the Northern Territory. It was no accident that the first international delegation undertaken by our government was to Timor-Leste, our nearest neighbour and friend, a place close to many Territorians' hearts. Madam Speaker, that visit to Dili was instrumental in strengthening ties with Timor-Leste and providing a foundation for our two governments to work together to explore collaborative opportunities in trade and development. More recently, I've returned from an official visit to Indonesia, where I met with the Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs and Head of the Indonesian Mining Ministry to discuss fully implementing our Memorandum of Understanding on critical minerals and strategic supply chains. I was honoured to be invited to speak at the Indonesia Economic Summit, which was attended by over 1,000 participants, including titans of industry and key decision-makers. I used this opportunity to emphasise the importance of strengthening economic ties between the Territory and Indonesia, highlighting that Australian subnational governments can add value to our relationships beyond the Australian government. I was also able to use this platform to remind our friends of the Territory's strategic role as Australia's gateway to Asia, promoting trade and investment opportunities such as advanced critical minerals and energy projects, which are vital for the region's economic growth. Engaging with Indonesian businesses and government officials at the summits was crucial for fostering long-term relationships and unlocking new economic opportunities for the Territory. While in Indonesia, I also met with a number of Indonesia's largest corporations and conglomerates to sell the Territory story. We have developed great partnerships with Indonesian mining companies and look forward to doing more business with them. Madam Speaker, I also had the pleasure of meeting with the Territory Training Provider, GT&T, to see and learn about its work in Indonesia. In what can only be described as a truly remarkable partnership, GT&T is providing vocational education and training in school courses in Indonesian international schools. And I'm informed that some of those students have now come to the Territory to work. Every aspect of these engagements is critical in building relationships and fostering a cooperative spirit so we can expand market access for Territory businesses and attract investors to our shores. These meetings have proven to me that we can better integrate with our neighbours in areas such as regional migration and skills exchange and international education and address challenges such as biosecurity threats. Re-establishment of the Trade, Business and Asian Relations portfolio by our CLP government marked the beginning of an exciting new chapter for the Northern Territory. Our roadmap for the future is clear. We will build on the foundations we have laid, expand our networks and pursue opportunities with tenacity and vision. The Northern Territory's unique assets, its strategic location, its rich cultural heritage and our innovative spirit position us to lead in a global economy that values connectivity, inclusivity and sustainability. In the year ahead, we will deliver an ambitious program of in-market activities across priority Asian markets. In all of my meetings with business and industry to date, they tell me that this is something they want government to do, something that helps their industry and businesses have relevance and recognition in their markets. As mentioned, I have already visited our nearest friends and neighbours, Timor-Leste and Indonesia. In addition to that, over the next 12 months, I will be leading or supporting delegations into Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, China, Taiwan and Japan. Each of these missions will focus on developing connections through our people, products and partnerships. Madam Speaker, there are many Territory businesses actively engaged in international trade with Asia, and many more aspire to be involved in trading globally. We will invest in capacity building initiatives that enable them to do this. Building our Asian business literacy will enable more meaningful and productive engagement and enhance two-way learning and trade. Trade and investment opportunities will be secured through leveraging our natural strengths in tourism, agriculture, defence, mining and energy. At the same time, we will continue to pursue forward-looking investments that position the Territory for the future, such as digital technologies through subsea cables and data centres, and securing private sector support for enabling infrastructure. Our government's role is to remove obstacles, create opportunities, and allow businesses to drive our economy. Madam Speaker, this year my focus is on action, certainty and security. As we build on our geographic and historical strengths, our goal is to empower Territorians to succeed and prosper. We will advocate tirelessly for policies that enable economic growth, attract investment and support our people. Ripe opportunities will no longer wither on the vine. By capturing this moment, the Northern Territory can build a resilient, diversified economy that leverages our regional strengths and connects with international markets in sustainable and innovative ways. This will not only reclaim our status as Australia's gateway to Asia, but also demonstrate that we can drive our own success. Through tireless advocacy, strategic partnerships, and a clear focus on our priorities, we will ensure the Northern Territory remains a vital and dynamic player with our key partners. Madam Speaker, let us continue to look north, build our economy and strengthen our bonds with our neighbours. In doing so, we will create a future where the Northern Territory is not only an economic powerhouse once again, but also a beacon of prosperity, innovation and opportunity in our region. Madam Speaker, I move that the report be noted.